it shouldn't be a problem. Welcome to the channel. I'm Mark. This is Life's Too Hard. We all feel like that sometimes. That's why I wrote these books. Spiriting Around, the modern guide to finding yourself, which is really about how to be an adult. CLAQ, CLAQ, Creating Love and Asking Questions, which is about how to work with God. And Self-Respect, the solution to unsolvable problems, which is about how to keep a fair balance between yourself and creation. These books are available as ebooks online or can be ordered at your local bookstore. I'm going to read to you from them, from starting with Spiriting Around. Don't worry you'll miss something. It's easy to jump around. And you may disagree, but that's okay. I don't mean to challenge you. I'm just asking you to think for yourself. Here we go. This is a continuation of the conflicts and controversies section. This part is guilt or innocence. What's right or wrong differs from place to place and changes with the times. It flows to the will of a culture and the movement of its generations. It adjusts to the needs of that society. What's right will always be those activities considered a contribution to society, and wrong will be whatever is considered a threat to society. So if guilt is being responsible for doing something wrong, then it's important to be very clear on what's considered right and clearly define the limits of wrongful behavior. The difference between right and wrong is always conditional. Each situation depends on unique circumstances to determine if an equalizing factor justifies normally unacceptable behavior. Human beings are empathetic. No one wants to be the victim of a crime, but we can easily forgive someone who steals out of desperation to feed their family. We know we could forgive ourselves in a similar situation. We can understand how circumstances can force someone to do something they'd normally reject. Whether it's a crime or necessity is something that we let government decide. We delegate the responsibility to our justice system. There we have a compromise through an impartial arbiter whose job it is to identify what's acceptable and administer compliance. An example of how our perception of justice floats on the moral tide is the conflict we have between the value we place on life and murder, the destruction of life. We feel sad for someone who suffers the loss of a loved one. We cherish life and grieve its loss. But in times of war, conditions change. We may find our finest citizens in situations where they must launch weapons that kill hundreds of people with the flick of a finger. And the killers are cheered as heroes with barely a thought for the victims. It's justified as necessary, an unavoidable tragedy of war. It's not important which side you're on. Any group can take this position and rationalize the rightness of murder. But we must always ask our spiritual selves, was it avoidable? Was it the right thing to do? Was there any other way? There's never a satisfactory answer when you're compelled to do something you detest. So to protect our psychic sense of social justice, we must acknowledge the truth. Hopefully we find peace in our loving thoughts and consolation for our doubts in God. The human struggle fascinates us. We're interested in anything unusual, especially if it's horrible and happening to someone else. Superficially, it may seem terrible to see someone suffering as entertainment, but it's never just that. We examine our own pain by comparing it to others who also suffer this life. Without that resistance, there's no way to know right and wrong. So there'd be no way to succeed. And we all want to succeed. Next, gun control. Gun ownership is about self-defense. The main issue is the debate in whether a gun owner's desire for self-protection is more or less important than the danger guns represent to society and their greater availability. When a homeowner has a gun, they have the added security to meet a deadly threat, and a criminal uses a gun to terrorize their victims with the deadly force a gun stands for. But it's a false sense of security they both see in strength. It doesn't matter if it's a pistol or an aircraft carrier. They're only machines. Power is an advantage, but it doesn't guarantee a result. Just holding a gun, you can feel the uncertain power of the thing. You can be fairly certain it'll fire, but who gets hurt depends on human control. If you hold a gun and you think you control it, you're only partly correct. The only sure thing is that it'll function impartially according to the law of nature. Shooting can be fun though. Sports shooting is about accuracy and self-control. It's the same as a practiced dance step or a well-placed golf shot. And it has the same satisfaction of accomplishment. The difference with guns is in the violent power they produce that causes tragic results when misused against the community. Next, health. The most precious commodity you own is your health. It's your control over your body. It's your freedom to function in the world. Your health is your physical expression of free will. We expect to be healthy. Most of us have strong bodies able to resist the strains of daily life. But everyone's body has limits. It dramatically improves where many athletes who worked hard to improve their performance later suffered problems caused by pushing their bodies too far. Many suffer chronic pains from the extreme forces they subjected their bodies to in training and competition. The most frustrating thing is to suffer an ailment that forces you out of your normal routine to accommodate the illness. It threatens our freedom because we have no choice but submit to it. It can't be ignored or traded away. And though an illness may not force you to give up your dreams, it can make everything harder. It's important to respect your health. It's easily lost through neglect. Your health can be your greatest asset or your biggest obstacle to your happiness. You can't make yourself indestructible, but you can show that you value yourself by doing what you need to stay healthy. That's a good place to stop. Thanks for spending some time with me. I hope you found it worthwhile. I hope you were intrigued and inspired. I enjoy sharing what I spent my whole life learning. Now I pass it along to you so you can make your life easier. I appreciate your comments and suggestions. Remember to subscribe. Hope to see you all next time. All the best.